To the point, since we want to cut and everybody is just shooting haywire up
All
here.
right, we're in discussion. Go ahead.
We are in discussion, correct? Yes. Okay. Now, these plans of this animal shelter is way too big. Number one, if we don't address the housing issues, where are the animals going to go? Are they going to live in this shelter until the day that they die? They're going to live basically in doggy jail until the day that they die. We need to address housing so the animals have somewhere to go. If the animals don't have anywhere to go, we already have enough people dropping them off, okay? Because the animals have, people don't have nowhere to put the animals when they move out of Marshall because they have no housing or they can't afford their housing, okay? So what we're going to do is compile a problem of now we're trying to pay over time, because if we make this shelter and we make it nice and pretty, not as big as Austin. I visited other shelters like in Oakland, California. Now, if we build a shelter, okay, how are we going to pay for it if the dogs aren't going nowhere, if, people have nowhere to, take the dogs? I take it every bill in there is going to quadruple. Lights, water, feeding the animals. We're going to need big donors. This is a huge project that, to me, we're running too fast with it. And if we don't find housing for these animals, we're going to have a problem.
I'm not sure I follow everything the logic
What
behind what you're trying to say, but
we need to address
but I will
housing.
say this: this is housing for the animals that don't have housing until they can be relocated and adopted out. This provides a place for them. As far as affordable housing goes in Marshall, we have Marshall Housing Authority that's charged with providing affordable housing here. Nobody's come. I don't doubt that there's need for affordable housing in Marshall, because I know from my experience, having been associated with the Housing Authority in the past, that there's always applications being made in a waiting list. And so there are ways to address that separate and apart from this issue, and that would be addressed through the Housing Authority and the city working in conjunction with the Housing Authority. They're the ones that have the ability to go out and seek grant funding, to obtain funding for vouchers, they're the ones that we can work with them to go forward and try to identify potential investors for our community to come in and build affordable housing here, because they're the ones that the certification process to make them eligible for Section 8 housing has to come through the Housing Authority and through approval of the City Commission. But those are all things that can be done and worked on here to address, and they're two separate issues. They're two separate. They're apples and oranges. They're not related at all.
Well, what I'm getting at is, I love animals. I've volunteered, I've done community service in the animal shelter. I've fed the dogs, I've cleaned cages, I've actually disposed of the euthanized dogs with my own hands. Okay, I understand the conditions of the animal shelter. I've also, I've reported, dogs, actually a pack of 5 dogs one day, and I sat there and I waited for the animal rescue to pick up the dogs, and I watch them drive right by, 2 pit bulls and 3 other dogs in the school zone, which was sort of awkward to me. But what I'm still trying to understand is, if we build this, where do the dogs go? They're going to just stay in doggy jail? How people are not going to adopt it? They have nowhere to take the dog out of the facility.
What we've carried several commissioners to see how these facilities and programs work and are successful. Austin is the gold standard. They're the ones years ago that started this concept, and here in Texas, they're the leading organization, but there are other cities around too, many others. Longmont, Colorado, other cities. Longview's headed in this direction. Waco has, it's the direction that cities are heading in, and they have a whole robust program that's made up of volunteers and rescue organization networks and things like that, people like that get involved with these facilities, and they place and adopt these animals out in homes. So you take them in, you hold them for a period of time, until they can do that. And they work diligently to get it done, and it's very successful in other communities. It works very, very well. And
It seemed like our shelter haven't, exhausted all the resources.
Okay.
I have yet to see, this is discussion.
I know Commissioner Carter has been chomping at the bit.
Oh, I'm
down there to
sorry.
say
I'll
something.
finish real quick.
And I keep trying to give him an interjection there, so.
I'm sorry.
pass
I'll
it
give
back
it to
and
you real
forth.
quick. But we haven't exhausted all our resources. I haven't seen, where we're using the internet to actually adopt animals out to the public.
Oh, yeah, we've got an internet Facebook page and internet. Yeah, it's a very active.
So why are we having difficulties?
Pictures are done.
All right, guys,
Why are we still killing animals
Because
at
of the
such large
facilities.
rate?
let's let Commissioner Carter, he has been.
I'm trying to earn my city commission
Yes,
pay.
sir.